This game is going to be epic. We are definitely going to get some news by the end of the year. I just know it. Welcome to a Haunted Chocolatier wishlist video. Approximately 1 year ago, almost to the day, Concerned Ape dropped news of a new game that he is working on. And that made me so happy because I thought he did such a good job at keeping the fans happy with Stardew Valley and staying true to his own design philosophy at the same time was so awesome. I love to theory craft and speculate what might be included in video games. Shameless plug, check out my top 5 hopes for Witchbrook video I did about 4 years ago. That's still relevant today as the game still has not launched. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. I want to get some of my thoughts out there into the world so that I can see how close or far I am to what actually happens. Before we get into the video, I do have a couple disclaimers. One is that I absolutely have no knowledge or any inside information about any game elements other than what has been revealed by the developer already. So all of this is purely for fun and speculation. Number 2, whatever this game ends up being, I know it will be good because Eric is one of the most brilliant and talented developers out there. He knows what makes a game engaging and great, and he proved it with Stardew Valley that he knows how to add on content that is meaningful, improve the game so that it is as enjoyable as possible. So whatever design choices ended up being made for this game, let's try to be really open-minded and supportive because I know it is going to be great. The last disclaimer is that parts 2 and 4 will come out a little bit later. I want to get a little bit more information before I make all of my wish list. Once I see where the game is headed and what mechanics and playstyles are involved, then my wish list will get more and more specific as we get close to the release of the game. Okay, let's get going. This is my wish list for Haunted Chocolatier. My first 5 coming at you with number 1. Alright, so number 1, of course this is going to be a very general one, but this is my ultimate hope for the game, and that is that after the game launches, that there will be more expansions and content updates for the game. One of my favorite aspects of Stardew Valley is that things were never left in a stagnant place. We had a bunch of content to explore right from the get-go, but the processes, items, mechanics were all improved multiple times, and even the game got balanced so that the values of items and goods were swapped so that multiple paths of progression within the game actually made sense and were fun to chase, which I thought was unreal. I really hope this game takes on a similar life to Stardew Valley because think of how exciting it was exploring Ginger Island for the very first time after playing the game for probably 3 or 4 years and then having all this new meaningful and exciting content that felt worthwhile to pursue. I really hope that Haunted Chocolatier kind of becomes its own little sub-universe where we're gonna get some new gameplay and things keep expanding because I think for me, this type of game needs longevity for it to really hold a special place in my heart. Even knowing that there's a possibility for more items, more NPCs, more areas of the city or town, maybe an island again, maybe a second city that you can visit. Knowing that some of those things are possibly coming really will keep me engaged in the game, and I hope that this becomes a new game that I can sink easily 500 to 1,000 hours in. Based on what we know about Concerned Ape as a designer, I really think this will be the case because I think he puts his all into every single project he works on, and I just can't see him dropping the game and then it being done. So that's definitely my number 1 overall hope for the game because I know that will give me years of enjoyment to come. Number 2, same replayability, but a very different player experience. I know some people are going to be going into this game hoping that it's exactly like Stardew Valley, just with chocolate, but I actually hope it's a lot different. I hope that maybe we even have a different calendar system, maybe the traditional 12 months or a 6-month, or just something different that's not the 4 seasons. Or maybe each season lasts 2 different months and there will be differences between the seasons, which could just add a new dynamic that departs from the farming sim world. Also, one of the reasons that I think you can play Stardew Valley, for example, for so many hours is you could spend hours just farming and becoming richer, or spending a ton of time redecorating your farm and making it really aesthetic. So even though we're only selling one item in Haunted Chocolatier, I hope that there are enough other activities to keep you really engaged, so that if there is a yearly system, you'll want to play to year 4, 5, 6, because there's so much to do that it takes a while to even get through the basics. And then there will be things that you will actually want to continue doing while you play, but throughout the rest of the years. One thing I know for sure is Concerned Ape seems to really like having a full-fledged experience in his games. So I think that he is so smart that he will bring in elements that make you fall in love with this world, these characters, and this gameplay, and it will be so impressive. I just know it will. Number 3, more town events, and events that differ year to year and also change the course of events in small ways. So let's back up a second here. One thing that I really dislike about some of the installments of Harvest Moon, and even to an extent some of the Stardew Valley festivals, is once you've done them once in 1 year, it kind of feels like you don't ever need to do them again, unless on another playthrough you want to go back and get that same item. In Harvest Moon 64, on the other hand, there were some events that got harder every year, like the swimming, the horse races, the dog races, and it wasn't a guarantee that you're going to win it every year. So I really like when you can kind of prepare for the minigames, or you might not win every year, or you really have to refine your skill set to win. And while we might not have a festival system, I'm sure there will still be some sort of town events, because that will just make more opportunities to connect with the NPCs, and it just builds on the universe and that feeling of community in the city where this game takes place. And then in terms of the events maybe varying year to year and changing the flow of the game in small ways, what I mean by that, and I'm going to reference Harvest Moon 64 one more time, is that in some of the festivals it was actually random if, let's say, you became the Spring King and went up in the hot air balloon, but you needed that to complete the game fully. Also, with the raffle at the end of the year, it wasn't guaranteed that you won all the prizes, so then maybe you had to buy raffle tickets again the next year. I think aspects of a game like that makes grinding to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th year really exciting, even if the rest of the year is pretty similar. Those little touches just go a long way. And because there's not such a heavy aspect of farming, I think that maybe even more town events could be a really fun mechanic to the game, where you're constantly involved in things in the town or the city, and year after year it's going to change, or the minigames get harder, and I think that could be a really satisfying add-on. Number 4, modding integration. So in the 1.6 Stardew Valley update that's coming, Concerned Ape mentioned that one of the key changes in that update is that he's going to make it more intuitive and easier for the modding community. And I hope for this game, because undoubtedly modding is going to end up becoming popular. I think that it would be really great if modding could be integrated easily right from the get-go of the game. I know I was a little hesitant to start using mods because I was worried that my long-term farm files are somehow going to get deleted, even though I know you can back them up. And I think that hesitation made me miss out on a lot of content, and even some of the mods that don't just change the aesthetics I still haven't used, because I'm just really wary of how it's going to affect my game. So I think if modding integration was inherent to the game, it would just make the will to play the game for longer even greater, because you're going to have even more content by all the brilliant people that put the time into making mods for these kind of games. And last but not least, I really hope that this game has a very unique and in-depth skill tree. I know that there's not going to be all the farming skills like we had in Stardew Valley, but I think there's going to be such an immersive gameplay experience that I hope that we have, 6 or 7 different skills that you can train throughout the game, and that they'll have those checkpoints where you can pick different skill bonuses based on how you're going to progress in the game. So I think that really makes it interesting. Most times I tend to choose the same ones every game, but now and again when I want to switch it up, I will choose something different, and it is nice to have that flexibility. So that is the last thing that I will put for my top 5, is a skill tree that is really cool, and maybe it even has a different progression than your standard level 1 to 10. So we'll just have to wait and see. I have a feeling that when we get our next update, there is going to be a little bit more of the mechanics revealed, which will hopefully answer some of these questions. If you stayed with me till the end of this video, thank you so much. Again, please check out my Witchbrook video. I have my top 5 hopes for that game, as I bet we're going to get some more news about that one soon. And I cannot wait to get some more screenshots, some more videos, some more updates on Haunted Chocolatier, because I know it's going to be a great game. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.